Hello there, friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa, and today is Friday, April 9th, 2021. It is like take 3 or 4, I don't know, but I'm gonna roll with it this time, hopefully. I did mean to pause the videos that I was recording previously right here, but unfortunately I kept hitting the stop button instead of the pause button. So here we are. Anyway, so I wanted to talk to you today about basically an update about my hand and a couple other things that are going on. I'm pretty excited about. One of them is my hopes and dreams for what's going on with my hand and all that. So we'll get into that shortly. But I wanted to do a quick shout out to my friend and coworker, Brenda. She got me this really, really cool phone holder thing. And this is kind of what it looks like there. This thing is a little clippy-bajig. That's right, I said it, clippy-bajig. And then, of course, it's got this little adjustable, neck. And it clips to your phone, and you can just put it whatever way. I'm using it right now, which is why I'm hands-free, which is pretty cool. And hopefully it'll stay nice and level. Yeah, so I would show you, but one-handed, it's kind of a pain in the rear end to readjust and get that all situated. So, or rather, yeah, that's basically, it's just hard. So anyway, that is really cool. So thank you, Brenda, for that. It's really neat. I really like the way it's set up because it's just kind of sitting there and I can adjust it how I need to. So super awesome. So there's that. Let's see here. So with my hand, as I posted before, I did get attacked by dogs when I was running through the park, a couple weeks back now. And I bet the cats are messing with my door. And it was an intense experience to say the least. I'm not going to give away a whole lot about it just because there are things going on in place, and I'm sure you could probably 1 + 1 = 2, that stuff, or rather put 2 and 2 together and get 4, or whatever it is that you get. It's just, there's a lot going on right now, regarding that. And so I wanted to kind of, talk a little bit about what's going on since my last video. I was going to have surgery on my hand, and I did. I had right digital nerve repair surgery, and I am in a splint that is wrapped up. It's really super wrapped up, so you can check that out there. My pinky's under there. I'm super fortunate because I can still move my pinky, and it's mostly because there is some numb feeling and tingling and stuff on the side of my pinky, and presently some of the feeling has come back in the tip, which is pretty cool. Because I had feeling on the inner part of my pinky, but not on the outer part. It was a numb, almost as your foot's falling asleep kind of feeling. So it's not as it's waking up where it's tingly, but it's as it's falling asleep. And I still have some on the side, but my doctor who performed the surgery said that it'd be roughly a month. So I was a little concerned that maybe I've done something wrong, or maybe I messed up something, or maybe I didn't do something right. I don't know. This is my first time ever having to have surgery on anything, and so this is all new experiences for me. So that being said, again, I don't remember exactly what I put in my last video about this, but I will go ahead and say that I am very grateful and thankful and fortunate that I still have I can still move all my fingers, and I can only guess, I'm not a doctor, but I can only guess that this is going to be a pretty good recovery because of that, because there's still, I can still use them. I still have my hand. I'm super fortunate that nothing happened to where I lost my life, I mean, again, it was an intense experience, and I don't want to downplay that at all, but I'm just super thankful that it wasn't worse. So I could go on and on about how amazingly grateful I am that it wasn't worse, or that it didn't end worse, because I still have my hand. And as you guys know, my right hand is my dominant hand, and so Life has been really difficult lately. It's been very challenging, and some of the things that I could talk about that have been very challenging, due to the pain medication that I was taking for this, and because of the side effects, I like very recently stopped taking them so that I can not have those side effects. But due to the pain medication, I couldn't drive because it would be considered, if I were to drive and either cause an accident or something like that, I could get pulled over or whatever the case, it would be considered driving under the influence because of the kind of pain medication that I was on. So it was pretty intense. And the biggest side effects that I had with that were like, I felt like I was really like, I'd get up and stand or get up and walk and I'd feel really, really off balance, like dizzy, whatever, kind of lightheaded. And there were times where I felt like I could pass out, which wasn't cool. And also like just so tired. Words can't describe like how like I'd be sitting there. And honestly, it was really similar to the day after I got my COVID vaccine, where the first dose of my COVID vaccine, where I would be sitting at my desk at work and talking to a coworker, and like literally like right then and there I could easily lay my head down and just fall asleep, like so tired. So tired. And it was similar to that, but like really strong to where I could just felt like I could just fall asleep. So because of those side effects and the fact that they were just really extreme, I called my doctor and asked him about it, and he said just to go essentially to take some over the counter pain medication. And I asked him, I'm like, should I discontinue this? And he goes, yes, just discontinue that and take Motrin or Tylenol or something like that, And I'm like, okay. So for a couple of days now, I have not been taking this pain medication. And I don't really take pain meds very often anyway, just because I don't want to build up any kind of tolerance to pain medication and then it not be effective when I do need to use it. So I don't usually take pain medication anyway very often. Like I have to have a pretty bad headache or something like that even to take like a painkiller. So this was pretty intense for me, and that's that. So anyway, so that's a thing. And but as far as like aside from that, the challenges that I've been going through, I feel like almost everything, and I mean almost everything, is possible. It's just really, really difficult. So taking a shower, for example, I have to make sure that this is covered. My sister has been really helpful with that. I essentially take 2 like plastic Walmart bags, make sure they don't have any holes in them, and then cover it, and then we tape it down here. That way it's, taped pretty close to there. That way, hopefully no water or anything gets in. And I've been very successful with that. So that's been great. But when your dominant hand is out of use, it is really, really hard to do things like take a shower. And so, I'm using my left hand to like clean things, and including my hair. And it is like a chore to wash my hair because as you may or may not know from my previous videos or knowing me in person, I have an asymmetrical haircut. And right now the short side's getting pretty long. I just either haven't had time to go get it cut or ask a friend to cut the short side, because it's relatively easy once you know how to use clippers. It's relatively easy to do a one guard clipper cut on like an area of your head or just an entire head. You just have to be pretty thorough about not missing any spots. And my best friend Tegan is she's cut my hair I think twice now, and so she's done pretty well. Maybe three times, but anyway, so as far as the short side, long side has layering and it's a little more complicated and it requires a little more skill. So haven't quite been able to adventure to see if she wants to try that yet, which I'm sure that she would be willing to try. I'm just not sure if I want to, even though my hair is pretty curly and it wouldn't show it that bad anyway. So if she did make a relatively, yucky, choppy, whatever, it probably wouldn't be able to tell because of my curls. But also I had made kind of, the last time that I got it cut, my long side, I think was in May of last year, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought, I was originally going to have it cut by the person that I normally get it cut from. And She's just been really busy because she's actually had a really big career change. She was going to school to be medical coder. So she was doing all of that and being very busy with that. And even I think working an internship at the time as well on the side cutting hair. And it was just hard to find time. So between our two schedules. So anyway, and I know that I could get it cut at different places or by different people, but like I liked that she did it because I could tell that she really cared and she wanted to take her time and make sure it looked good. So I appreciate that. Not to knock anybody who works for chain salons, but the chain salons tend to focus on speed so much that at least the one that I worked in, the reward system for being fast would sway a lot of people to hurry through haircuts, and they weren't as good as they could be. It's not that they weren't good, decent, but it does affect quality. So not to get into that too much. I don't want to get into that because that's a whole nother ball game. And that's another thing too, honestly. As a lot of you know, and some of you even have me do it, I cut hair on the side, and that's something that I can't do right now because my hand's messed up. So anyway, that's kind of crappy. There are a lot of people that wish that I could cut their hair. One of them is actually one of my other coworkers, and sorry. Anyway, so again, that's another path to go down here shortly, but not right now. So let's see here. Okay, so washing my hair, like I said, so, I've only got my left hand, and my left hand is not my dominant hand. And it's difficult. So I'm like washing my hair, and I always wash my hair twice because I have a skin condition really similar to psoriasis where I get like the dry, patchy, flaky patches on my scalp, and that sucks. So I usually wash it twice and condition it once, and I let the conditioner sit, and then I have to comb through it to get as many flakes out as I can. And a lot of times afterwards, my scalp looks really red because I'm like, getting in there. But I prefer a red scalp to like flaking all over the place. So that's how that goes. So I've been taking a shower like every other day because of how much of a hassle it is to do. And I've been washing my hair every few days. So I might do it every other day with the shower, or I might wait like, I guess if you counted the fourth day to do it or something like that. That way I can just kind of not have to deal with all that. And it takes time. And then there are things that I can't do in the shower, or I couldn't do well if I attempted them. So I'm just not even bothering, like shaving. It's an issue, and I just don't want to deal with all that right now. So it's like, I want to do it, because at least in my culture, shaving your legs and your armpits and whatnot, that is a normal thing in my culture. That's a culturally acceptable thing, and it's also kind of expected of women, for the most part. So that's a thing. But I also just like the way it feels to be clean shaven. And I can't do that right now, or I can do some of it, but not all of it. And that's a pain. So things as simple as showering, that's something that's been difficult. Gosh, there's just a lot. Going to the restroom, going potty, wiping is kind of hard. I mean, it's not. Like I said, some of the, they're just really simple things that I guess you kind of take for granted. If you want to call it taking it for granted, because it's just a normal function in your life when you can function. But then when something like your dominant hand gets taken away from you, you have those issues. And again, I am so fortunate that I still have my hand and that it's still functional. It's just I can't use it right now like I want to be able to use it. And, I know there are people out there that have lost limbs or fingers or entire hand, arm, whatever, and they have to deal with that. I know there are people out there that were born without, and I commend you guys for doing what you do, because that is awesome. And so this is kind of my little taste of challenges that come with all this. So anyway, and I'm trying to choose my wording well because I don't want to think of myself as incapable. And the truth is there are some things that I'm incapable of doing right now, or again, are just like so difficult. It just doesn't even seem like it's worth it. So but I like to try to be as proactive as I can, and I try to think positive. And believe me, I've had a couple of little breakdowns. And I've cried a couple of times because of like the issues that I've had with this, but for the most part, I'm really trying to stay positive and proactive. So again, you know, like simple things like hygiene and using the toilet and uh, even putting my hair up. Like when I did this, I used like these fingers, and I had to flip my entire self over and like if you're okay, so if you're a guy that is used to pulling your hair back, you're gonna understand that there's like I don't want to say like a rhythm to it, but like if you pull your hair back and you use like a little scrunchie or rubber band or an elastic, whatever, there is like a way that you kind of turn your hands and twist your hands and your fingers and all this other in the way you hold your hair. Well, I have to throw my whole body down if I want it this high. And because I needed it out of my face. A couple times I got really hot, and that was another, I think, side effect of the medication that I was taking. There were times that I got just so hot. It's weird. But anyway, throw my whole body down, get it down, and then like kind of, you know, whatever. And so it's difficult. Like I said, just these little itty bitty things are normal for people. Most of the time, normal for me. It's a challenge. I'm getting dressed. I haven't made my bed probably since the morning that the bite happened, because I don't want to try to throw my blanket around my bed. And I know that that kind of brings me to another issue. I am concerned about destroying the disciplines that I had created in myself before this happened. So I haven't worked out. I haven't done any kind of exercise since I got attacked by the dogs. And so that's been like 2.5 weeks now, if I'm not mistaken. And that sucks. I honestly really miss it. I feel like I've not been very active. I have not made the best food choices because I'm very limited in what I can do as far as cooking. I can make a sandwich, and I can throw things in the microwave. And as you guys know, if you watch my videos, you know I like to use those steamed fresh bags of vegetables. So that's pretty easy. But I can't and again, like, I don't even know that I can't. I just know that it's extremely difficult, and I think it's more risk than it's worth making a mess or wasting food because I'm probably going to drop it on the floor or flop it out of a pan or whatever. I don't know. But there's just a lot, again, like I can't do, or that is just, you know, it's not worth the hassle, mess, risk of hurting myself, burning myself, whatever. So cooking is another thing that I haven't been able to do. And I want to actually take some time towards the end of my video to thank some people, and my sister is one of them. She has been making, she has made me breakfast. She has made me dinner a couple times. Like, she's been really good about helping cook. And you know, for those who know me, you know, and I may have mentioned it in the previous video, my sister and I share a place. So she's been really helpful with like making meals. And I've tried to help my, like, when we order out, I try to, like, I don't always pay for it because sometimes she does it, and that's awesome. But like I want to help wait if I can help by paying for it, and if I can afford it, I can and I will. So it's been really nice. But you know, also like she's gone out and gotten me things. You know, like I said, I can't drive myself, and even if I could, which I don't know how long it takes for pain medication to technically get out of your system so that, you know, it would be considered not affecting you anymore so that you could drive. But I let my sister use my automatic transmission car. I have a Mustang, and so it's an automatic transmission. So I'm letting her use it until she can get her van fixed for her job. I have a Jeep that is a manual transmission, and as you all know, you got to shift with your right hand. I really just think it would definitely not be safe for me to attempt to shift with my left hand when my my stick's over here across, and I also need to, like, you know, steer and all that. So I can't drive very well. if I were to try, because I haven't even bothered trying. So shout out to my sister, my best friend Tegan, and Adam, friend of mine, who have given me rides. I've also had some people from work offer to give me rides to and from work, which is super nice. Like, I just like the amount of people who have helped and the amount of help that they have given me. I can't thank you guys enough if you're watching. So thank you so much. It's real. It means a lot to me that you're willing to go out of your way to help me out. And some of it's little ways and some of it's bigger ways. Some of it's like, let me carry that for you. Or some of it's, I'll get that. Or like when I'm at work and I need to write a memo, I had one person, like, I was trying to write it with my left hand and she goes, do you want me to go ahead and write that? And I'm like, okay, it'll look better if you do it. So that kind of brings me to one of my other things. Like I said, there are all kinds of things that I'm having trouble doing. Like I said, very challenging, is very difficult. But I'm kind of a challenge accepted kind of person most of the time. So we'll go ahead and get to one of the things that I'm struggling the most with right now, and that is doing my homework. So a lot of you might know that I'm an avid note taker. I am primarily a reading and writing learner. If I can read it and write it, copy it down in like a notebook or on a piece of paper or something like that, or like if you give me a date that you need me to go be at this place at this time for this event, then if I write it in my agenda, there's a good chance I won't even need to look in my agenda to see that I have to attend this, because I'll just remember it from writing it. But if you tell me and I don't write it down, then I am most likely not going to remember unless you remind me 20 million times. So I'm reading, writing, and I'm also a very like visual learner. So that being said, with the two classes that I'm taking right now, I'm taking art appreciation and I'm taking Spanish 201, which is intermediate Spanish 2. In Spanish, I copy down my terms like anywhere from like 3 to 10 times each, depending on what the term is and how easily I think that I'm going to learn it. In art, there is just a lot of information that we have to take notes on. So sometimes it's reading in our textbook, which might include, well, and I mean, he's pretty vague when he says, read this chapter and take notes on it. So it's kind of whatever notes that you take on it. I tend to read the chapter, and then I copy down the key terms at the end of the chapter so that I have, kind of that. And then he also does a lot of videos, either his own videos, my art professor, his own videos that he makes and he's putting on YouTube because of the corona. Both of my classes are online classes that I'm taking. And so one of them is just the way that he does it. So my Spanish professor, he's just got his system for his online class that he's just had because he's done online classes. I don't know how long he's been doing his online classes, but he's pretty much got it down to a T. It's a really great system. However, my art instructor, I think this is I think he said his second semester doing online classes, and he's got it down pretty well as well. But he does like lecture videos. So his lecture videos and his links to other videos that he wants us to watch. That way we can kind of get a feel of what this art is or how this art is supposed to be like intended to be interpreted, or, the style or whatever. He does really well with that, but he tells us again, to take notes on the videos. So with his lecture videos that he does, he's got like his slides. I think he does like a PowerPoint, and he talks and he tells you things alongside it. So he does that. So he's got his PowerPoint and his sections with like the bullets with the information, on the PowerPoint. So, you're copying them down. I tend to like to also copy down the names of the artworks that he talks about, and like, what they're made in, and like the time. Like I copy down like the whole thing that's written underneath it, the title, the description of the materials, and the like the year or whatever, or circa whatever that it's been made in, and then also like where it may be. And so again, I'm an avid note taker, so I might also write down a little bit of a description of what it looks like. So I can remember it if I see it, and I might not remember exactly what it's called, but if I see the name, I might remember, like, oh yeah, that's that thing. So anyway, I wanted to share with you what my notes look like now, because again, I'm being an avid note taker and then not being able to take notes with my dominant hand, which is my writing hand. This has been a challenge for me. So I had reached out to both my professors and I said, hey, I just want to let you know I got attacked by dogs. I had to have stitches, and this is back when I just had to have stitches. I'm like, I had to have stitches in my hand. I might need an extension on this stuff. Can you please give me an extension? And also, if you have any advice for me, let me know. And so my Spanish professor, who has always been really, really, really compassionate and understanding, he's like, yes, of course you can have an extension, take as long as you need, and let me know how you're doing, and blah, blah, blah. So he was really cool about it. And he's always good about answering my questions and everything. So my art professor got back to me and he's like, yes, you can have the extension that you're asking for, but try not to fall too far behind because things are starting to get a little more intense. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And he's like, I would suggest that if how you learn is note taking, to go ahead and keep note taking. And I'm thinking, fudge, because I fire truck. Yeah. That's my F words when I'm at work mostly. So I'm like, great, I've got to try to continue to take notes, and it's going to be in my left hand, so that's going to be really difficult. So, but I can tell you this, I am getting faster at taking notes with my left hand. And also I'm kind of like coming up with little neat ways to abbreviate things to where I don't have to write everything out, and I know what I'm talking about. And even if somebody were to look at my notes, they'd probably understand. So if for example, if I were to spell the word extension, it'd be like EXTEN apostrophe N. So extend, and then the shun would be like essentially understood. So that I can shorten things. One of my cool ones that I've done recently, because right now in art, we're learning about the Greek periods, or the Greek phases of art, along with like the Roman, Middle Eastern, or not Middle Eastern, good Lord, Roman and Middle Ages art, medieval, and we're learning about some of that. And the Greek art that right now I'm learning, just so that you know, there's an archaic period, there is a classical period, which is the one that I think we all really kind of think of a lot when we think of Greek art, and then there is the Hellenistic period. And so in Hellenistic, they talk a little bit about Alexander the Great. And so Alexander the Great, and even just the name Alexander is a pretty long name. I shorten to capital A, lowercase x, capital T, capital G. So it's literally a 4-letter Alexander the Great. And I think anybody could probably figure that out. So I'm just feeling pretty proud of myself, because again, this is like one of the biggest challenges that I've ever gone through. And still being very determined to get an A in my classes, because right now I'm actually making, because of some extra credit that I went ahead and did, I'm actually making right on the dot 100% my Spanish class. I've got I think it's like I don't remember what the points are right now, but I'm going to say 503 out of 503 points on the dot 100%. I'm actually making just a little bit over 100% in my art class, because I've gotten some extra credit points right on tests. So that was pretty cool. He offered extra credit in one of the modules that we were doing, and I just didn't have time to do an extra project. So I just didn't even, I'm like, I'm just going to take it the way it is. So I'm like really, really determined to get an A in these classes. I'm really determined, because so far I've got 3 terms since I've been back at school, spring 2020, summer 2020, and fall 2020. I have gotten a 4.0 in each term, and I am determined to continue that. So yeah, so anyway, I'm going to show you my notes. I hope you're enjoying my video, by the way. I know we're about 30 minutes in, just kind of talking to you, just kind of having that conversation, just kind of give you an update. And if you've stayed and you're going to end up staying to the end, that's fantastic. If you don't, that's okay too. It's a long video. I don't blame you, and what I have to say isn't all that important unless you're like a friend of mine that cares and just hasn't talked to me and we're not going to get together for a while. whatever. I don't know. But anyway, moving on. So, and I kind of gotta like readjust my entire self. I will start with my art notes. So I have taken notes with this. We're talking about the construction of Stonehenge. So this was like my last module. So here is my normal handwriting. As you can see, yes, it is very tiny. It's pretty sloppy, but I can read it. And I'm just kind of using my hand to steady my my notebook here. All right, so here we go. So we've got like, there's my normal handwriting, and then you can see where it starts to change. Module 9, and honestly, it's really not bad. It's actually that's what my left hand looks like. So there's that. My Mesopotamia. My boss and my sister said that this handwriting is actually more legible than my normal handwriting, which is pretty funny. So I think I have a very normally I have a very fast note taking, like it's like a scrawl, but this is what it looks like now. We got ziggurats and all that jazz. And so that was basically when the change happened. So there you go. So there's that. Here is my Spanish notebook, and I've got I tend to like to draw the little charts, and there's my handwriting. I actually noticed something really interesting. My handwriting is actually better when I am copying down my Spanish stuff. I do things differently in that. And then one of my friends on Facebook, who I used to work with, he actually made a comment that he noticed whenever he was taking Spanish that his Spanish notes were actually a lot better than his notes that he took in English. And I even told my professor that, and he's like, that's weird. I wonder why. And I thought about it, and I'm like, maybe it's because like your brain knows that you're learning this language, so it needs to be as legible as possible. That way you don't mistake an E for an A or whatever the case. You don't mistake your letters, because if your handwriting is neat, then you're going to be able to read it properly and remember the correct spelling, and then remember, attached with the spelling, the correct pronunciation and all that. If it's not neat and it looks like it's spelled differently than what it is, it's going to make a completely different sound when you pronounce it and all that jazz. So I wonder if it's like a subconscious thing. So anyway, so again, I've got my normal note-taking hand, and then my left hand, and look at that. Isn't that just special? So, we got cardinal directions, and then I've got some other things, geography, la geografía. What else we got there? We just got all kinds of stuff. El clima. And I like to, with my Spanish, I like to put the words with accent marks over in the margin, just because, like I said, I'm a visual learner as well. And if I can remember, like, it just kind of helps me remember, because they're just kind of out there that word has an accent. So cañón, for example, is the Spanish word for canyon, and it's got 2 accents. So I think that's really neat. But anyway, and I'm like such a word nerd. So that's how that goes. That's what my notes are looking like right now. In fact, like even my board to kind of help me keep on track for this video is in my left-handed writing. And it's really neat too, because it's just so up and down, and I try to keep it pretty straight. It just takes me some time. It's just hard. So that's been one of my biggest struggles. One of my biggest struggles has been note-taking while I'm taking these classes, but I'm really, really determined. And I got really discouraged earlier this week. I got really discouraged. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to keep up in this class. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do what I need to do. And I panicked a little, like not panicked, but it was the very, like the kind of despairing kind of, made me feel like I should just give up. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, I can't give up. And I got to thinking rationally, like, you know, like what's the worst that can happen? Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, literally the worst that can happen is me actually choosing to give up. That's literally the worst that can happen. But, and I'm getting a little dry while I'm talking here. Let me take a drink. I would pause my video, but if I pause it, one, I run the risk of hitting the stop button, and I don't want to do that again. And then two, the stand that it's on, it kind of like boings, it kind of shakes up and down because it's not super sturdy because it's on that like wire thing. So there's that. But anyway, so like I said, the worst that could happen is actually just deciding to quit. And that's really bad too, because not only does that throw away the A that I've earned so far, all the work that I've put into these flipping classes, because I really want to say the fire trucking word, but I won't say it because I'm trying not to do that. And also wastes money and time. And that sucks because last semester, I think I've talked about this before, last semester I had decided I'd try to take a third class, which I work a full-time job. I cut hair part-time on the side, and I am trying to take classes so that I can become a teacher. So I was like, oh, I'm going to try to do a third class. And I tried to take a third class, and it was so overwhelming. It was so overwhelming that I'm like, I just decided to go ahead and withdraw because I felt like it was best for my mental health. And it would keep the other two classes that I decided to stick with from suffering because of how much I enjoyed them. And I'm like, I know I'm capable of an A in each of these classes. And I feel like at this rate, I'm going to burn out real quick, and I'm going to end up getting poor grades, and it's not reflective of my capabilities. So yeah. So anyway, so worst case scenario, you know, and again, I withdrew. So withdrawing from that class, I still had to pay for the class. So I'm making all these payments, and you know, that was a good few $100s down the drain, and that sucked. But at the same time, it was really the best choice that I made because the class that I chose to give up last semester was art appreciation, and I'm taking it this semester with a different teacher. And I like that we have a physical book instead of an online book because I'm like way more of like a physical copy person. That's 100% better in so many ways, and I won't get into that, but that, and then also I really like his style of teaching, honestly, better than I like her style of teaching. She didn't do a bad job, but I think this was her first time teaching an online class, and it was just really, I don't know. There were a lot of kinks that she still needed to work out, and it was just rough. So I went ahead and I'm like, you know, like I said, I really like his way of teaching this class, and I really like what I'm learning, and I like the setup that he gives in it, and it's just really good. I like it a lot. It's way easier, I think, than the other, and still engaging because we still have to work in groups and do things. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But to get back to the situation with my hand, that's a bummer. So another thing that I think is a real big bummer, I'm going to tell you about it. One of my haircut clients / friends, I like to think of him as a friend, he is really cool. I try really hard not to name certain names on my videos just because I don't know if certain people would feel comfortable with me like name dropping them. So I will just call him D because that's the first initial of his name. So D is a retired Navy chief petty officer, and he works for a company, and I can't remember what he does for this company. And we've talked about what he does. But it's like the talk that we've had, honestly, it's kind of vague about what he actually does. But anyway, so he does work. He works full time for a company. But he also part-time does woodwork, on the side, and he does some really cool stuff. So I actually commissioned him to make me a pen. Yes, that's right. I commissioned him to make me a pen, and guess who can't write properly right now? So, but anyway, this pen is really, really cool. It's a lot of money for a pen, but I'll tell you something. It is one of a kind. It was made by a friend / client of mine, and I got to pick the wood, and I think that's really neat. I actually got to, like, I think the wood block, I actually, like, got to hold it, and I was like, this is really cool and all this. But anyway, he showed me pictures of this pen that he did for, I think a coworker of his, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm sorry, D, if that's incorrect. But a coworker of his, and he showed it to me, and I just thought it was really cool. Because for some reason, I really, really like it. So it's a nautical themed pen. And he actually made me like a very simple wooden pen for Christmas, which was super sweet. And it's really simple, and it doesn't have like any adornment or anything, but it is like he carved the wood and he put the pen together, and I really liked it. I thought it was really cool and just super special. And I didn't want to use it because it was a gift and it was handmade, and I didn't want to ruin it. He's like, you gotta use it. I'm like, okay. So it's in my purse. But this one, I'm really excited about actually being able to start using. I just can't right now because I guess I could with my left hand, but I don't want to do that. So, no, I might change my mind later. It's just really cool. So anyway, so I even got to pick, the metal material, that the metal parts are, and I picked like a pewter because it's kind of like a silvery color, it's silvery gray color, and I thought it would look best with the wood that I picked. And I can't remember what the wood's called. It sounds really funny. It sounds kind of like chocobolo or something like that, and that actually might be right, but it's from Africa. It's really cool, and it's a really heavy wood. So anyway, I'm going to get close with this pen, that way you can see it. It's really awesome. Let's see if I can't like stand up and show it to you, and I hope that it comes into focus. I'm trying to bring it into focus. All right, so anyway, even though you probably can't see it all that great, it has, gosh, it looks like crap because it won't focus. It has, focus on my pen, don't focus on me. Maybe if I step out of the... Nope, doesn't want to focus. Okay, so anyway, it's really cool because it's got, you know... Oh God, I sound like an idiot. The steering wheel of the ship. It's got the anchor. It's got a compass on the top, which is really neat. Like I said, I just wish it would focus. It's killing me that it's not focusing. And then at the bottom, see, this is really cool because he carved the wood, which is really awesome. At the bottom, it has like a little like engraving in the metal of a ship on the sea, and it's really neat. It's got these little rope accents. And so he ordered these pen kits, the metal parts, online, and it comes like 3 to a kit, and he let me pick the metal. So there was like this, the pewter, kind of like light silvery color. There was like a bronzy color, and then there was another one, and I think the other color was kind of a goldish color, like a yellowy goldy color. And I just really like the pewter color. And then, like I said, he let me pick my wood because the last time I cut his hair, and he showed me this picture of this pen, I just thought it was really, really cool. And I was like, I want one of these. So it's kind of funny too, because man, I'm just going on and on all day. It's kind of funny too, because we were talking, and I was talking about how like this tax return that I was going to get at the time, I've got it now, but I was going to get, was like the biggest one that I've ever gotten. And so I was like, okay, there's that. And then I'm also going to get the stimulus. I definitely want to save quite a bit of it. And I want to put some of it towards bills. I really need to get new tires for my car. And I need to get new shoes because I have a tendency to wear out my shoes before I get new shoes. So I'm not your like stereotypical girl. It's not that I don't like shoes. I do like them. I tend to go with practical. And then again, I wear them out. And then by the time I wear them out, that is when I decide to go ahead and get new ones. So like my last pair of running shoes had holes where like the pinky toe was on both of them. And then I finally got new shoes, but these don't fit as well. So I really feel like I need to get new running shoes. And I've had these since September, but I wear them like every single day. They're not just for running for me. I wear them every day. They're basically my tennis shoes. And so they're starting to wear down as well. Anyway, so I was telling him about like, I need this, I need that, I need new underwear, I need blah, 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 blah. And it was like, so I'm like, since this is a pretty big chunk of money, you know, if you've got any advice, I'll take it. I'm like, I might not actually use it, but I will definitely listen to it. And so, you know, he chuckled about that. And he said, honestly, I know that you're doing all these things that you need to do, and I think that's good. He's like, but I think that you should splurge a little, you know, spoil yourself a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I might do that. I don't know. I feel a little bit weird doing that. And then like, so after I was done with his mom's hair, because I went ahead and cut his mom's hair while I was there, and then I cut his hair. Afterwards we were just chatting and he showed me this picture of this pen. I'm like, this could be what I splurge on. And he kind of chuckled. I'm like, yeah. So this is what I splurged on. And like I said, I just think it's this beautiful pen, and that he made it is really, really awesome. And the wood is just beautiful, and the pewter is beautiful. So I know I'm like geeking out over this pen, but like I told him, I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure I told him, when we were really, really little, we lived in Oregon, and like, I don't know. I think since then I've liked like nautical stuff. I like the sea, and I like, water and waves and like ships and like scenes like that. I like lighthouses. That's actually one of the things that I don't collect that I think that I would if I got into it. I just like, you know, I like nautical stuff. I really do. And it was just neat that this kind of brought that back